Hey everybody, it's Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a weekend cruise just about every weekend. But this past weekend, I took the weekend off to go on Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady. But as you all know, I am royal at heart, and so I was often thinking about the Royal Caribbean ships and making comparisons to Royal Caribbean versus making comparison to the Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady that I was on. Now stay tuned to the end of this because I'm going to give you my overall comparison or breakdown between the two on which one I think has the overall better experience. But I'm going to break down a couple of different areas. We're going to talk about the food, the entertainment, the decor, the gratuities. We're going to talk about a lot of different things as it relates to these different cruise lines and which ones I personally, in my opinion, find to be the winner. Now, if you have gone on a Royal Caribbean ship recently, you may have noticed that the kids sail free has kind of been the golden standard for what marketing and promotion they are offering on Royal Caribbean ships right now. And kids are running, depending on the ship, somewhere between 20 and 25% of total passengers. And so going on the Virgin Voyages, it is 18 plus. So if you are on a Royal Caribbean ship right now, especially at the end of summer, you're gonna see a ton of kids. And this was very, very noticeable on the last couple of cruises I did on Freedom of the Seas, where kids are just absolutely everywhere. They're running around, there's bad behavior going on. And honestly, it changes the dynamics of what that ship and that sailing is like because there are so many kids. Going over to Virgin Voyages though, it's 18 plus. And so that was noticeable to me actually at embarkation. I am standing in line waiting to check in. It was calm, it was peaceful. And this flowed through to the entire cruise that it was calm, it was peaceful because you didn't have the dynamics of kids running around. And I think the kids on royal ships move in, I call them move in herds or droves because they always pack up together and then move, in those kind of ways. Plenty of room in the hot tubs on Virgin Voyages because you had only the adults going in there and the adults were well behaved in the hot tubs, unlike I've seen the hot tubs with a lot of kids in them. So in this particular case, when it comes to, do I prefer the kids sail free model where, we're really targeting as many kids as we can get on a ship, or do I prefer 18 plus? I'm going to go with 18 plus all day long. So the winner for me on, what kind of marketing strategy the two cruise lines are using, is it going after kids sail free or is it 18 plus? The 18 plus is absolutely going to be the better cruise for me to choose, hands down, every single time. The decor and furnishings was also something that I noticed was a bit different. Now, when I think of Royal Caribbean fleets, this is where the size of the Royal Caribbean fleet really comes into play because they have ships that are brand new, like the Wonder of the Seas, which is beautifully decorated. And you've also got older ships such as the Vision, the Voyager, and I'm even gonna throw Freedom in here because it's starting to look a little dated and a little worn around the edges. And it's not really that old of a ship, but you've seen in the room tours that I've done on Freedom of the Seas that the furniture looks dated, the color schemes of the furniture definitely looks dated versus Royal Caribbean's newer ships that they're putting out, such as the Wonder of the Seas or Odyssey of the Seas. And I'd even say to some of the larger Oasis class ships that are newer, they probably stand up to the test of time right now, but the other ships all feel a little dated and are a little lacking. When I look at Virgin Voyages, they have two ships. I've been on only one of them, so that's all that I can speak to. And it was brand new. I mean, it's only been really sailing since post-COVID. And it was elegant, it was sophisticated. The decor was contemporary and modern. I love the decor on this ship. Royal Caribbean was, the newer ships at least can be contemporary, it can be modern, but it pulls back from feeling like a luxury cruise line. When I looked at Virgin Voyages, I felt like it was more of a high-end luxury cruise line because of the upscale decor that they did choose, and I thought they did a great job. For me, on which ship has the best decor and best look to it in the common areas and the staterooms, that's going to be Virgin Voyages as the true winner of this one as well. The third item that I really noticed a tremendous difference was the food. Now, for Royal Caribbean, you have traditional dining, so you've got the main dining room, you've got the Windjammer, and you've also got specialty restaurants that serve absolutely fine food. I have been very pleased with the restaurants and the dining experience on Royal Caribbean. I think their food is very, very good. I've done Coastal Kitchen, which is their higher end version or suite level. And so I think the food is really good. It may be hit or miss depending on the ship that you are on, but the food has been stellar, and the specialty restaurant's food is even better if you want to step up your game and pay a little bit more. When you go over to Virgin Voyages, all of their restaurants, for the most part, come across as a specialty restaurant like Royal Caribbean, except the food is actually better than the specialty restaurants on Royal Caribbean. It's definitely better than main dining, and it's even better than the specialty restaurants that you're paying more for on Virgin Voyages. The food was just fantastic. It blew my mind. The plating of it, the service, I mean, it was just a really wonderful experience, and the taste that they were able to pull off in, their entrees and their appetizers was bar none the best. The one place I did find Virgin Voyages lacking compared to Royal Caribbean was in the desserts section, which desserts are interestingly something that I didn't think Royal Caribbean actually did that well on. But going over to Virgin Voyages, the one place I found that they did lack some was on their desserts. I was always looking for something that had a little bit more taste to it, a little bit more sweetness maybe, and they were just trying to be a little bit too creative on the dessert space, and I feel like they may have lost me some there. Overall, though, the winner here is absolutely going to be Virgin Voyages. The food is hands down, by far, much better than even the specialty restaurants on Royal Caribbean. Ship design is the fourth place that I will call out, and this is an area that I found noticeable as soon as I got on the Virgin Voyages ship on how Royal Caribbean and Virgin Voyages is different. Now, when I am on a Royal Caribbean ship, traditionally, I am on a ship that has a promenade in it, and the pool deck and areas are very open, it's very spread out. The ships are a little bit larger, and I really appreciate and value the openness of all the different spaces. The promenade to me is a huge gathering spot. It's an awesome place to hang out, to people watch, to walk down it. I really enjoy and kind of missed having a promenade. Going over to Virgin Voyages, they have a roundabout, which is not even like a centrum. A centrum is even nicer than this roundabout. The roundabout is just simply a very small, wide staircase from one level to the next. They host events here, but it is by no means a magnet for people and a great gathering spot like you're gonna find in a Royal Caribbean Centrum or you're gonna find in a promenade type setup. The long hallways on Virgin Voyages were cumbersome. I didn't know how to get around a lot. I was often stuck or trapped in, I'd go down to deck 5 thinking that I connect up to the front when I was in the aft, and that just absolutely did not work. I had a lot of, I can't get there from here moments, and other people on the ship did as well. It was very tough to navigate. So I will say when it comes to ship design, I missed being on a Royal Caribbean ship. I think the way they lay out their ships, the design of their ships is much better than the way that Virgin Voyages lays out their ships, and I really gravitated towards Royal Caribbean's designs and layouts. Now, when we think about private islands, so Royal Caribbean clearly has Coco Cay, their private island, and then we also have Virgin Voyages has a beach club in Bimini. So you have access to the entire teeny little island of Bimini, but you have exclusive access to the beach resort that is there. And so to make this one a little bit more fair, I'm going to compare the Coco Cay Beach Club, specifically at Coco Cay, to the Bimini Beach Club that you can access with Virgin Voyages. Now, the Coco Cay Beach Club is beautiful. You walk into it, they've got greenery everywhere. It's very nice. You've got one pool directly in the middle. You've got chairs up front. You're gonna have some limited, what I call nice chairs, if you will, that you can sit in. And that's why I see a lot of my friends are trying to get on the first tram over to the beach club to get some of those exclusive seats by the pool. There's not too terribly many of them. The food over at the Coco Cay Beach Club is fantastic. They're gonna serve you lobster and steak and all sorts of great stuff. And they're also, this is the marine life was out also a little bit different here. They're gonna have stingrays and sharks in this area. The sharks are baby sharks, don't panic. They've never had an incident, knock on wood, so far. But they do have those there. The beach club at Coco Cay does cost an extra amount of money per person. Oftentimes, this is at least $100 per person, especially in the summer months. So if you're looking at that, when I compare it over to the Beach Club at Bimini, it is included in your voyage. So you don't have to pay extra to have this experience. You will take a tram over to it the same way that you would the Coco Cay Beach Club. And you're gonna have two very large pools for everybody to be able to enjoy. You're gonna have lots of chairs up by the water, lots of half eggshells and different specialty kind of chairs that you can sit in. They still have cabana rentals just like Coco Cay does, but there's a lot more space to spread out. And the amount of people that you have there is normally limited. So a Virgin Voyages ship only has, what, 2 to 2,300 max on it. And my sailing was at 30%. So it felt very calm, very tame. They still had some different events, but it was a really relaxing time and experience. I did kind of miss having a hot tub at the Bimini Beach Club Resort. The food here also really wasn't the best. So it was kind of bland. It's all made on the island. It is not brought from the ship like it is at Coco Cay. And so I think that that impacted the quality of it because it was not at the same level of the food that we were actually eating on the ship. You could tell that it was more island food, and it was decent, but it was not as good as we were having on the ship. You're also gonna find a difference in the marine life here. So I didn't see any stingrays or sharks, but there were hundreds of jellyfish out in the water. I personally did not get in the water because of this. Everybody was telling me that, oh, the jellyfish here don't sting. I don't know you, I don't trust you. I see a jellyfish, I am staying away. And you could literally not walk into the water without brushing up against a jellyfish. They were everywhere. I was told in the afternoon they left, but by then I didn't necessarily want to get into the ocean. So this is again included with your price of admission to the Virgin Voyages or Virgin Voyage cruise, so you don't have to pay extra for this upgraded or high-end experience. So between the two of these, honestly, I would say it was a bit of a tie for me. I may prefer the Coco Cay Beach Club a little bit more because the food there is just so good. And it is a smaller type of crowd most of the time. And so I would say it is a tie with Royal Caribbean probably sneaking out to be the winner with the Coco Cay Beach Club. Now let's talk entertainment on the ship. So when you think of Royal Caribbean and you think of Virgin Voyages, you're gonna think of two totally different experiences when it comes to entertainment. Now on entertainment for Royal Caribbean, I am very familiar with that. I know exactly what they do and I've seen many of the headliners several times over. And so it's not really targeted to me. I am not the guest profile that they are thinking of at Royal Caribbean when they design their entertainment. And does that mean that I don't enjoy it? Not necessarily, but it means that I don't enjoy it as much as I might could. So if I think through the singers and dancers shows, these are really targeted towards baby boomers and older who really enjoy a more classic style of choreography and who enjoy older style music and singing performances. You're also going to have movies up at the pool deck that they're going to show in the evening. These are oftentimes children's movies. They are cartoons or what have you. I still enjoy those. I go to see them often, but I am not the guest profile for it. You're also going to find your headliners, which are going to be, cover bands or the Four Tops, things of that nature that harken back to a day of the 50s, 60s, 70s. And then you're going to have comedians and magicians, again, really targeted towards more of a child audience that I can't really relate to. Some may argue that, the adult section for the comedian might be targeted towards me, and it probably is, but by then I'm already asleep because they have them going on so late in the evening. Now, when I go over to Virgin Voyages, let's flip that on its head. And Virgin Voyages with its entertainment has opted to niche down, and I am absolutely their target audience. So they are not casting a broad net, trying to cover everybody with their entertainment, but they are really intentional on who they are targeting here. And that would be me. I am the person that they are building these shows for, and they really resonated with me. They had, one-woman acts, they had a drag queen, they had a Circus Olay show, they had another off-Broadway style, edgy ballet, modern dance kind of production number that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the entertainment because I was the guest profile. It was made with somebody just like me in mind. And I remember the first show I was sitting in and I had that epiphany, and it almost brought a little bit of a tear to my mind, or a tear to my eye, because I was the person they were thinking of when they created their shows and their entertainment on Virgin Voyages. And for that reason, I personally loved the entertainment. I recognize that it is not for everybody, but for me, hands down, the entertainment winner for between Royal Caribbean and Virgin Voyages, it has to be Virgin Voyages because they chose me. And finally, I will say my last thing here, and you've heard me make videos on this, gratuities are treated differently on Royal Caribbean versus on Virgin Voyages. So on Royal Caribbean, your gratuities are an automatic gratuity that they are added to your bill every single day, or you have the option to prepay these. You're also probably going to wind up tipping additional amounts to your wait staff, to your servers, people you interact with, your housekeeper or stateroom attendant. You're probably going to tip them all additional amounts of money on top of the automatic gratuities. I've made another video, you can check that out here to see how I go about tipping and my overall thoughts to it. But on Virgin Voyages, tips and gratuities are completely included. And I thought that going on, a gratuity included type of voyage, I still would see people tipping above and beyond to say thank you. And I did not see that at all, if ever, on Virgin Voyages. We paid our gratuities up front, and I did not see anybody paying anything else. Or I would say it was paid up front. It was just included. There's no way to get out of it. It's just there. The wait staff was still fantastic. We had great service. Everything went really well, and we didn't have to tip above it. They don't even check you out of the restaurants with a sheet of paper that you can tip more even if you wanted to. Everything's just included. When you get a drink, there's no additional 18%. If it says your drink is $9, you are paying $9 and nothing more. It is a fantastic system, and I must say that I really, really appreciated having gratuities included. And this one, for me, hands down the winner, is Virgin Voyages because the gratuities are included, and everybody, the staff, the crew members, and the guests, all have a better experience because of it. Now, in conclusion, I'm not sure that I'm going to give an overall winner to this because I don't think that it's really a fair fight. This comparison that I do it because Royal Caribbean is who I know and Virgin Voyages just happened to be the cruise line that I was going on. But comparing Royal Caribbean to Virgin Voyages, they are two totally different cruise lines, and it's going to be down to your own personal opinions. Now, when you think of the things that Royal Caribbean has, you can definitely upgrade and get a better experience on Royal Caribbean. Or in this case, I just went on Virgin Voyages and got that experience all included versus having to buy the ultimate dining package, having to buy the access to the Coco Cay Beach Club. It just all comes included in a higher end elevated atmosphere. The trade-off here is it's also going to cost more money. So I did a quick analysis and it looked like Virgin Voyages is running around $130 to $150 per person per night, double occupancy, to be able to go and have this higher end experience, which is more than what Royal Caribbean is charging. For that, I might still wind up going more to Royal Caribbean because I don't always want to pay the increased amount for that higher end experience. It was a wonderful sailing, but I don't always need to pay more to get that high end experience. I still enjoy the Royal Caribbean experience, which is a cheaper experience, but still a good experience at the end of the day. So if I'm cruising as much as I do, I kind of got to take that into account. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, hoping to see you on a weekend cruise soon.